Oh, folks, I hope you're excited because you know I am today. It's going to be a great one. We're talking about my 4 favorite dividend stocks. Look, let's just be clear. They're not my 4 favorite total, but they're my 4 favorite dividend stocks in 4 different industries. I hope you're darn excited because you know I am today. This is going to be exciting stuff today. These are stocks I still consider worth buying to this day, folks. Still do. We're going to start with none other than ABBV Realty Trust. This is going to be a loan originator. So financials are really first industry here. So what do I like about ABBV Realty Trust? Well, you can see over the last 5 years, the stock performance has been significant here at a 95% gain in the last 5 years. That includes a massive dip of 2020. Massive dip. Hopefully you bought more back then because I know I did. But the stock performance has been incredible. And on top of that, they're posting right now an over 8% yield. An over 8% yield. That's pretty incredible when you're considering that amount of capital appreciation plus that yield. We're talking about massive annual gains here. Really nice to see that. So what is ABBV Realty Trust? Who are they? They're not just another commercial and multifamily lender, okay? That's right. This loan originator offers many different products in their loan portfolio. They're a Fannie Mae multifamily lender, actually a top 10 by volume for more than a decade. Pretty exciting in that aspect. They're also Freddie Mac multifamily lender, so both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac loans through them. They also offer bridge loans. Don't forget mezzanine and preferred equity financing, single-family rental portfolio financing, FHA. So this is a company that has a pretty wide swath of loan portfolio here. I mean, it's quite large, the amount of loans they offer, which is nice to be diversified if you're a lender. It really is, so that way in case one segment might have an issue, given economic times, it always depends, and you never know. Others may be able to outperform in the same time frame, so just keep that in mind. So what are they doing in terms of revenue? Look, this company's been doing beautiful things really over the last 10 years as a whole. You've seen great things. Since 2011, continuous growth in the green, basically. We saw a bit of a dip in 2016 when the market saw a bit of a poopy time, 2015 to 2016. It was pretty rough back then, but since 2016, we've seen incredible growth in revenue from this company. I mean, incredible stuff. We're talking about 100+% revenue growth when you're talking about quarter or year over year, I should say. 2020 was the only time we saw a red quarter here. And it's understandable why. I mean, it's all right. And since then, they've recovered massively. So nothing I'm too concerned about there. There shows a great trend when you look at that. And you look at dividend history, this is what's really beautiful about this company. This is the past 10 years of this company. Back in 2012, they were paying an 8-cent dividend, which has been up now all the way to 37 cents in that short time. Recently, they've been growing 1 cent a quarter even. Now, that's pretty darn significant. 1 cent per darn quarter. Can you believe it? I know I can't believe it, but it's pretty beautiful. We look at the scorecard, ooh, and it's nice. We've seen 9 years of growth, pretty darn nice, and a 17% 5-year dividend growth rate is pretty darn significant. And the payout ratio right now, not too high either. So they've been continuously growing this dividend, and they're really devoted to it. So it's really exciting. You look at the stock performance. I added this in here to compare it to the Dow Jones, just a normal investment in the Dow Jones. What would you be doing? Well, you see, over the last 10 years, off of a $10,000 initial investment, ABBV Realty Trust, that's right, would have gained you 1,883%. Holy cow. That's wild. That compares to the Dow Jones, 228%. Yeah, that's right, folks. That's since 2010. That is incredible to see the difference that's been able to do. Obviously, a much larger dip here you saw in 2020, but the recovery even hotter. I mean, that's hot stuff right there. And if you're looking just at ABBV Realty Trust in terms of, let's say, 10 years off a $10,000 investment with dividends reinvested, you're going to be ending with a final value of $79,855. Okay, that's pretty significant. Pretty darn significant. So, that's just off 10-year investment. That's pretty sweet. Average annualized return of 23% when you're including dividends in there. That's pretty darn nice. I don't know about you, but I kind of love that. And that's with dividend reinvestment, by the way. So you're purchasing more shares with all the dividends you return. That's great. So that's Arbor Realty Trust, my number one stock there. First stock mentioned. Then we get into, it's similar, but a bit of a different industry. Realty Income Corp. So Realty Income Corp, this has been a consistent company. They are known as none other than the monthly dividend company. That's right. This is a company that's earned a mantra, right? They've got a specific name to them, the monthly dividend company. That just shows there's been great things going on, folks. Over the past 5 years, you've seen only a 20% gain, nothing significant over the last 5 years, but this is also a company currently yielding over 4%. Every company today is going to be yielding over 3%, so just so you know. It's exciting. These are what I call nice dividends, okay? What is Realty Income? Well, this is a company that has a wide variety of, that's right, net lease agreements. Okay, so they're basically, if you're not sure what that means, look at the top left here. Monthly dividend company, that's right. They know it. They know they are. So if you weren't sure what that means, is they own properties and they lease those out to different companies. As you can see from their diversified portfolio statement on the right here, they have around 11,100 properties under long-term net lease agreements, over 1,040 different clients, which is significant because of the fact that they're very well diversified in that aspect, to where they're not loaning just to one industry. 60 retail industries and 50 states, Puerto Rico, United Kingdom, and Spain. That's right, folks. When you're looking solely on the dividend side, obviously they mention that right as you get onto their website, because they've been averaging a 15.5% compound annualized growth rate since 1994 on their listing. That's pretty significant. 15.5% every single year. Pretty nice. They paid 620 consecutive monthly dividends. That's right. That is massive, folks. 4.4% annualized dividend growth rate, too, since their listing as well. And 98 quarterly increases consecutively. That's pretty darn significant, folks. I know that you're excited about that. Let's look at their portfolio because I want to show you how diversified this company really is. We look at the top 20 clients, and you can see they're in multiple different industries. So we've got Walgreens at 4.1%, Dollar General in a similar business at 4%, but we've got gas stations with 7-Eleven. We've got, obviously, another retailer here with Dollar Tree. We've got FedEx, that's right, FedEx locations. LA Fitness in there, Sainsbury's another. There's a lot of retailers for sure, but these are companies that are incredibly well protected against recessionary environments. These people are still going to be buying like crazy. CVS Pharmacy, Walmart, Sam's Club, AMC Theaters in there. So they've got theaters, they've got restaurant industry, Red Lobster, Tractor Supply Company, Tesco, Lifetime Fitness, Home Depot, Amazon warehouses even, they're a client. Pretty significant, this portfolio. It's really significant. You look at industry diversification, and you kind of get that that picture here if you look at the far left. 9.1% of their portfolio is in convenience stores. That is currently the largest segment to my knowledge. So they have a lot of different segments, as you can see, kind of lined up here. Some of them are a little bit fair, a little bit stretching the boundaries of what you can consider its own segment, but that's okay. I would just consider all retailers together, but they don't do that. But that's okay. That's okay, folks. You look at the revenue of this company, and it's been significant. Over the last, literally since 2010, you cannot find one quarter in which we see a red number here. We can't see a red bar anywhere in the past 10 years. That's right. Consistent gains of around 10% for the past 10 years, consistently growing revenue. That's what this company is doing awesome. They're continuing to expand that loan portfolio, or the net lease portfolio, with more properties, and they're continuing to grow revenue significantly. That is what is very nice. Even through 2020. Can you tell that 2020 happened? It's kind of hard to tell with this company because they continued to grow revenue despite some, really around 30+% of their tenants not paying them their principals. They weren't paying for their properties, and they still grew the revenue. Good golly, I love to see it. What is so significant with the dividends here? That's right, this company, 25 years of dividend growth consistently. That is what I call absolutely beautiful. You can see over the max time frame how this company's been able to grow dividend. Oh, baby, it's an absolutely beautiful thing. One good thing is if you go on the dividend growth tab here and we look at the last 10 years, you don't see massive bumps. We're talking about, around 10 cents, I guess, 10 cents or less a year annualized. That's fine with me. That's great dividend growth. Look at the scorecard. Obviously, this is where we're talking about 5-year growth rate of 3.67. 25 years of growth, really ridiculous. This payout ratio is not accurate, by the way. In case you were curious, if you look at their recent AFFO, that is just not accurate. But that's great stuff. So let's look at a stock comparison here. What does Realty Income do in comparison to the Dow Jones? That's right. Over the last 10 years, over the last 12 years, Realty Income posting a 409% gain. Beautiful stuff. Well, the Dow Jones sitting at 228, as we saw prior. So not quite as much as Arbor Realty Trust, but there's a lot more risk with Arbor Realty Trust, and it's a lot more dependent on economic factors, while Realty Income a lot more consistent here, a little bit safer of a play. So pretty exciting to see that. This is a beautiful one. And if you look with dividend repurchases over the last 10 years, repurchasing the dividends, you're now going to be sitting at $30,000 off your $10,000 investment over a 10-year period. That's right, 3xing your money in 10 years with an annualized return of 11%. Pretty beautiful, if you ask me. That's it for our financials, folks. We're getting into, that's right, we got a pharmaceutical on here, and it's going to be ABBV. And I don't talk about biopharmas a lot, but this is one that I definitely am a big fan of. ABBV's been a consistent, great performer for me, and the dividend's nice as well. Over the last 5 years, we've seen 174% gain on ABBV. Great stock performance, and they're also offering a 3+% dividend yield. Was over 4%, but since they've had such significant stock gains over the last year, 62%, that yield has fallen down under 4%, but it's still a really good yield. This one we can kind of compare on our normal PE ratio, 27 PE ratio, not trading too expensive, all things considered, and a market cap of $309 billion. Let's look at ABBV, what they do. Obviously, this is a company that sells las drogas, okay? They have different components in the works right now, and you can see on the right is going to be their phases of testing right now. They're working on a lot here. Some popular known drugs from them. We've got Renvogue, Skyrizi. From a neuroscience standpoint, Qulipta, Viralar. That's right. They got drugs for days. We'll get into the ones you obviously know and love. Imbruvica, you know them, right? Navitoclax, I don't know that one. Okay. Veliparib, Venclexta. Okay, folks, these are drugs right here. There's a lot of them, folks. Vuity, it's a great combo here of drugs. Okay, they got quite a bit. Botox, that's right. Botox is ABBV. That's right. This is their drug. But yeah, they've got a big swath of drugs, as you can see here, and they're continuing to test more and more to add to the market. I mean, that's kind of the focus of these companies, and they've got a lot under test here. I mean, we got UC Parkinson's. They're in a phase 3 study right now with this 951 component. So pretty exciting. There's a lot of stuff going on for ABBV. But yeah, they produce drugs. That's right. What have they been doing in terms of revenue? If you look since 2011 here, again, barely. You got to kind of dig to find any red quarters here, and you did in 2019. You see one, and back in 2013 you see one. We're talking about less than, really just around 1% year-over-year decline. But since then, massive growth. We've seen 50+% here in 2020. Massive growth in terms of revenue consistently when you're looking on a trailing 12-month basis. It's pretty beautiful when you look at this chart. It really is. Now, what are they doing in terms of dividend? That's right, 8 years of dividend growth rate. But here is a significant line for you. 17% 5-year dividend growth rate. A payout ratio of only 41%. This company's got a lot more money that it can pay out in terms of dividends. So this is a beautiful dividend right now. And we can really see that when you look at the history. When you look at the last 10 years, look at this dividend growth. It's been pretty significant. $1.41 they're paying quarterly right now. You compare that to just even the 2015 number was only 49 cents. So to grow really $1 of dividends in the past 6 years, that's pretty significant, or 7 years, I guess is fair to say. That's pretty darn significant. I mean, that's pretty massive. I don't know what you want to say. We're talking about over 3 times the dividend in a span of 7 years. It's beautiful. This company's been growing the dividend quite massively, okay? Quite massively. Let's look at a stock comparison, how AbbVie's performed against the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And this one does not give you a full comparison because it's going only through AbbVie's listing here. Let's see. So this is going from 2012 as opposed to 2010. And in that time, AbbVie has posted a 631% gain versus the Dow Jones 163 in that same time frame. Pretty darn significant. Then if we look at with dividend reinvestment, for AbbVie off a $10,000 investment since 2013, obviously the same time frame, $69,000, $69,121, or a 23% annual return there. Pretty significant. Yeah, I don't know. To me, that's pretty exciting. I think this chart actually, I hate to say it, I think they're showing me the same thing over this too. I think this chart also shows dividend reinvestment. Sorry, folks, I failed you. I've really failed you, but that's okay. That's okay. So we're gonna forget that ever happened. We're just gonna stick with the one for now. I thought I was being pretty clever, but that's okay. Iron Mountain's my last one. Iron Mountain, I've talked about this one quite a bit, and I hope you've been involved in this one. Why? Because over the last 5 years, 53% gain, but really since the last year, 48%. They've made a lot of gains in the last year. On top of the fact they're yielding over 4%, this company was consistently yielding over 6% for a long while, but this last years of gains, don't worry about me dropping everything, have made it so the yield is now a sub 5% yield, but over 4% is still a beautiful yield, in my opinion. What does Iron Mountain do? Oh yeah, if you didn't know what Iron Mountain did, well, this is a company, I guess, best classified as a document storage company. They do it in many different ways. So in terms of their services, data centers are their new big push right now, right? They're really focusing on working on digital document storage because a lot of companies are turning to that in terms of physical documents, but a lot of companies will still continue to do physical documents into the future, but they're building these data centers as kind of a secondary avenue to continue to gain clientele. Really awesome. They do document scanning. Really cool there. They do cloud data management, obviously, as mentioned, through these data centers. Secure storage of documents. Obviously, that's the main thing. They will do secure shredding as well when the time comes. Companies usually have a required time by law in which they have to keep documents, and then after that, they can be shredded. So Iron Mountain can do the shredding for you. Entertainment services? Oh, protecting media archives, I get it. But yeah, they're storing data and documents. That's Iron Mountain. It's a pretty basic business, but one that is essential to all companies, right? All companies, if you're following laws, you will be storing documents for many different reasons, right? Whether it be personnel documents or if you're working in a pharmaceutical type industry, If you're working in a pharmacy, obviously you have to store patients' medical records for a certain time frame, and then after that, you can ship them off. So pretty exciting stuff to see. That's right, folks. What has Iron Mountain been doing in terms of revenue? It's been pretty beautiful, actually. They've been doing really good things in terms of revenue. Again, you can see after 2016, they've continued to really grow revenue. It's kind of a trend here. 2016. I wonder what happened in 2016 that would have led to such great economic success over the last 4 years. Weird. Look what you did. You got rid of them, folks. But look at this great gains here. The revenue, obviously at all-time highs when you're looking at a trailing 12-month basis. It's been good, really good revenue over the last revenue growth since 2009. Really good revenue growth. So what has Iron Mountain been doing in terms of dividend growth? That's right. When you look at an annual dividend, I wanted to show this because they did include some special dividends back in 2011 and 2013. Really massive special dividends they haven't paid since, but they've been able to grow pretty nice. 2015, $1.91, then $2.01, $2.37, $2.45, $2.47. They haven't grown over the last year. Since 2020, they have not boosted the dividend. But this is a company that's not going to be decreasing the dividend. I can assure you this company's, look, that's why I didn't show this chart, because look at that. These special dividends were massive. $3.62. I'm ready for that, folks. I'm ready for that. But now the yield's obviously a lot higher, so, it just depends. But this is a company that pays a nice dividend consistently. It's beautiful. Okay, I love the dividend. When you look at the stock comparison compared to the Dow Jones, this is actually one of our worst performers when you look in comparison. If you exclude the last year, it's pretty well tied with the Dow Jones, right? We look back here in 2021, they were pretty well near even, 191% gain for both of them. But this last year, they've kind of taken over. Iron Mountain now sitting at a 482% gain versus the Dow Jones 228. Obviously, this is the same chart we're going to show since 2010, the start of 2010. So a $10,000 investment now equates to $58,500 versus the Dow Jones $32,800. But this does show a good annualized return, I guess. 16% annualized. Nice to see. That's what we got, my 4 favorite dividend stocks. I hope you're interested in this. Oh, baby. Have a good one.